something bad happens, and the first thing that many people do from the left, they immediately do what I would call playing the mental health card. I got on the London Underground.
A box! He got my box! Stop thief!
With my little boy, you all know. I've got a little toddler in a pram. When the tube doors closed, within seconds, it felt like, basically it all kicked off. This absolute madman on the tube threatening passengers for absolutely no reason whatsoever. This guy ranting, raving, going up and down the carriage, threatening people. I don't mind admitting I was absolutely petrified.
It's afraid. It's afraid!
Anyway, I bent over my little boy's pram, and this lady crossed, she got off her seat and she came and stood right next to me, and she helped me shield my son. And she was shoulder to shoulder with me, and she said to me, don't worry, I'm going to help you, we'll look after him. And I said the following: on my tube carriage yesterday, a madman was threatening passengers. I tried to shield my toddler who was in his pram, and a lady crossed the carriage to stand alongside me to help protect him. Luckily, the guy did not reach my son, but it was so scary, and I am so grateful to that lady, so thank you.
Hey, isn't anybody gonna arrest me or what?
And there you go. I thought, well, that was the end of it. But no, I had a huge response to that tweet, including one from a Labour councillor who took me to task about my language. So the first thought wasn't about the safety of me and my 2-year-old son. It was actually about the language that I'd used to describe the perpetrator. She said the following: a better description would have been a man suffering with mental health problems who became threatening towards passengers. Dehumanising someone just continues negative stereotyping towards those with mental health conditions, especially when access to mental health services is limited. Well, I've got to say, dear listeners and viewers, that infuriated me, because I feel, and I don't know about you, that in this society, in this day and age, there seems to be this shift away from the victims of crime, away from what those guys are experiencing, and more towards the perpetrators of crime. It certainly feels that way to me. So when I saw that tweet, I certainly was not happy. Anyway, a little bit of back and forth followed on Twitter, and I invited the lady to join me on my show to actually debate this with me. And I'm pleased to say that she accepted that invitation and joins me.
My concern is that targeting people who are vulnerable.
What?
That targeting people who are vulnerable.
And it's really hard to keep sitting back and listening and reading people saying, well, actually, they're a madman, they're nuts.
I have to be honest, when I look around in society, I am sick and tired of people not having to face responsibility for their actions. Personal responsibility seems to have got lost into the ether.
I wish I could make you understand, but I'm not coming back. Nothing can make me change my mind.
Your first response is to protect the perpetrator and tell me what I should be using, what descriptive terms I should be using in order to soften my description of this guy who I stand by was an absolute madman.
Communicating as a town councillor, I am communicating, one, as a person who has great understanding and knowledge.
The appeal to authority fallacy is saying that something is correct because an authority said so.
I am communicating, one, as a person who has great understanding and knowledge of people, young people and adults with neurological conditions. To use such inflammatory language just continues to target our young people and older people who do have mental health conditions.
How do you know that this person has mental health issues? Because I certainly didn't, and I was stood in a tube carriage with him, so how do you know that?
How do you know that he's a madman?
Because that's the
He's
term that
he's a
I chose
person
to describe him based on his erratic, aggressive, ridiculous, threatening, violence behaviour. That is how I chose to describe him, and I stand by that. So what I'm fascinated by, because I see this all over society, something bad happens, and the first thing that many people do from the left, they immediately do what I would call playing the mental health card. Why?
The only reason why I became a Labour councillor was supporting 3,000 families who've got children with neurodiversities and had to organise a protest march.